Hi, my name is Christy Agari,
Hi, my name is Kimiko Agari.
and this is the Oral Surgery Sisters podcast. So, Kimiko, when did you first start looking into a career in the healthcare field?
So I would say definitely in high school. I would say probably the first time I felt really interested in pursuing a healthcare field was in high school, maybe when I was 16 years old. One thing that stands out that was something that I got really into was watching the show House. I think the very first episode I saw, I was already so captivated by all of kind of the medical jargon and the procedures that they were doing and the diagnosing. And so I remember that really sparking my interest. And
You're
from then on,
obsessed.
yeah, I would watch it every week and wait for it. This was before streaming. So I would wait for the episodes to come out every single week. And I'd be really excited about.
I'm pretty sure we made our mom buy the box set
Yeah,
of House
that was
on Black Friday.
We-
She had
we
to
actually-
wake up at 4 a.m. and go get that for us.
yeah for Black Friday. I think we have multiple DVD box sets, or unless we gave them away. But I would always watch that show, and that was something that I knew that's not necessarily how medicine is. But on top of that, I was always very interested in science, and even if I didn't pursue healthcare, I would have gone into a science degree in college. So
If you weren't an oral surgeon, what do you think you would be?
probably, I don't know, like what is whatever Josie does. Not Josie, Jolene.
Oh,
Forensics. Yeah, I think I would go into forensics because it's still kind of similar. It's
You love
forensics.
solving problems.
It's
Crime.
still diagnostic. It's still solving kind of a mystery. So I think that's what I would do. And it seems practical and kind of still in the same realm. What about you?
So I think I've always told you this. I don't know what I would do, but I do feel like with my interest in so many different things and my work ethic, and I feel this about you, that I think that I could probably go into many things and be happy. Like if I went into business and got an MBA and
Yeah.
was an accountant
I
or got a
could see
CPA,
that.
or if I went into law, I think there's a lot of things that I think I would be happy in.
I
You
could
just
see
have to
that.
find the right group, the right position.
The right niche, kind of.
Exactly.
Because all of those things are
Yeah.
kind of general. Like healthcare is actually quite
Super
general.
general.
And there's different types of careers or positions that you could have in healthcare. So I think the same for other things. I think you're probably more broad and could find a niche in anything. But I think for me, it's a little bit more specific. I think outside of healthcare, I don't really know. I don't know. Like, can you think of anything else that I would do? I don't think so.
No, I think you could be anything.
Really?
Well, that's
Like
how
what? I don't
when you
get-
were growing up and I was watching you as little sister, I just thought that you could do anything. I don't think you ever got a B on a test. I don't think you ever got in trouble. I was always getting spanked and just getting yelled at. You were just the angel child.
Okay, that's definitely not true.
Oh, that's
I-
the memory in my mind. So
I
we're gonna
didn't
go with
strive
that.
for getting straight A's, but
So
I
I always thought you could do anything. It's just a
Yeah, I
matter of
don't
what
know.
you wanted to do.
yeah. I think I just always knew that I wanted to go
You're
into
a
healthcare, so I was
believe
very.
it, achieve it child.
I guess, yeah.
Not
I guess,
everyone is
I
like
guess
that.
so. Yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess when did you know that you wanted to go into healthcare? Because I do feel like you spent more time
Well,
exploring.
I always knew about dentistry because
Mm-hmm.
of you, and we have a lot of family friends that are dentists. Our neighbor was a dentist, and I always wanted to follow you and do what you did, but I did kind of dabble in many different things. During summers, I would take different community college classes, say like in business, or I took an American history class, or I tried to do different things, but I feel like I just always came back to healthcare, especially dentistry. It's got a little bit of everything. They say it's an amalgamation. It's a little bit of art. It's a little bit of business. You have to have people skills. There's
all of what
so
you have. All of what you have.
Thank you. I hope so. But yeah, so dentistry, there's a lot of beauty in it that a lot of people just think, oh, it's so gross. You're just working in people's mouths, which is true. You do have to be able to work in people's mouths, but there's so much more beyond that. So I think I always came back to dentistry. I don't know that I would have done it, though, if you didn't go into it. because you really did pave the pathway for me to head in that direction. Because if you don't have any guidance, it's really difficult to go down any of these doctoral pathways. I think, you really did a lot of the headway, figuring out how to take the DAT, how to get into the pre-dental program, how to apply for dental school. And then most people just stop there. If you can even get into dental school, you figured out the oral surgery pathway, kind of the game. There is, unfortunately, in a lot of things, a lot of pathways to achievement. Unfortunately, there is a game that you have to play. It's a fact of life, unfortunately, again. But you figured out the game, and then you helped me. So I couldn't have done it without you.
I mean, I helped you in the sense that I just did it. I don't know how much I helped much more beyond that, but I think we were both very fortunate to have mentors and people guiding us. Because obviously I couldn't have done it by myself. I had other mentors and whatnot, maybe not an older sister, but I think we were both lucky that we went to UOP and we were in the pre-dental program. We had research mentors, we had friends who were in years above us that were applying for dental school, so they all guided us through that path. And so I think that's why mentorship in general is just so important to us, especially, again, being women in the field, because we really just couldn't have done it without people kind of guiding us along the pathway. Because like
Absolutely.
you said, it is very niche. Like, oh, I want to be a dentist. How do you do that if you don't have people to tell you how to do that? And now it's a lot easier with social media and resources online.
Yeah.
And
I mean, in specifically getting to oral surgery, it's even the most niche, because even in our own hospital, the program itself is different from hospital to hospital. So even in our own hospital, people would be like, wait, your oral surgery, what is that? What is your program like? It's just so specific. So to figure that out is pretty difficult. So
nobody knows what
nobody
knows what an oral surgeon is.
People are like, oh, what advice do you have for me to get into oral surgery? I'm like, do you have a big sister? And then yeah, you should have her go into oral surgery, and then that'll really help you.
Not everybody has that.
Highly recommend it. Get a big sister in oral surgery.
Well, I would say when we were younger, the focus was not really on school in our day-to-day conversation, whereas now it's very much focused on oral surgery, obviously. But I feel like when we were younger, a lot of it is more based off of fun because we're kids, yeah. And now that it's both of our careers, then that's kind of a big focus.
I feel like our relationship has gotten deeper and broader because like you said, it was kind of just about our interests or what we were doing for fun. But now we have both what we enjoy and our shared interests, but our careers, what interests us, what makes us as people, and we can talk about what's going on in our personal life, and we can talk about drama at work and bad days. Exactly what I'm going through, and I don't even have to set the scene. Yeah. It's like you're already there with me because you are also an oral surgeon.
Yeah, I think it's just when you're a kid, it's just so simple. And so with every year that passes, you just individually become more mature. And then through that, your relationship matures where there's just so much more to it. And there's just so much more. I mean, we've been through many years together. So both outside of school and in school. So I think, like you said, it's just kind of deepened and grown over the many years.
Yeah, you and I, we practice very different scopes of oral surgery. So 90% of oral surgeons, or what would you quote it at? 80 to 90% of oral surgeons. Maybe it's even less nowadays. I feel more people are going into academics, but a good majority percentage of oral surgeons will go into private practice, which is what I do. And then on the other hand, you do the minority where you are actually in a hospital full time. So our weeks are very different.
So in general, I would say my week is different, but it's probably in general similar to yours, where I have a few days of clinic where I'm seeing patients just in my clinic for consults, for post-ops. And then I have other days during the week that are where I'm in the operating room and I'm doing hospital-based oral and maxillofacial surgery where the patients are going to sleep and I'm doing some sort of surgery operation on them. But that's kind of what you're doing, just in your private practice.
Yeah, pretty. It's a different setting. The surgeries are different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if just to paint a picture of my week last week. So, I'm in my clinic Monday to Friday. I do basically consults in the morning. So patients will come and we have a consult first where we talk about their problem, what they're interested in, what problem they need me to solve. And then we will set them up for surgery. We do surgery in my own clinic. So I don't have to go to the hospital or the operating room to do their surgery. I do my own anesthesia. So we do an anesthesia consult as well, where we prep them for anesthesia. And then either that same day we may do the procedure or we may do the procedure on a different day. But pretty much throughout the week, that's what I'm doing. But my week last week was a little bit different. So Thursday night, my office hosted a continuing education event. So continuing education, it is educational hours that dentists and doctors have to perform throughout the years to maintain their knowledge and maintain with the current times in the field. Every time you have to do a certain amount of hours to renew your license, which is great. Like we should be staying on top of the times. So my clinic hosted a complimentary continuing education event for the dentists in our community. So that was, we don't do that all the time, but we just did that on Thursday. So we talked about current concepts in restorative implant dentistry.
Yeah, it sounded like it went really well.
Yeah, it did.
It was a success.
It was a success. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a bigger picture, I would say our weeks are generally similar. The difference I would say is that when I see patients in the clinic, just like you, where we're doing consultations, follow-ups, if I'm doing a consultation for a patient who ultimately needs surgery, I'll take that patient and schedule them at a later date for surgery in the operating room. So I think mostly it's just our scope that's different. And then your scope is more dental-alveolar, kind of traditional private practice, oral and maxillofacial surgeon.
What's the craziest surgery you've ever been a part of?
I don't know.
This girl's been a part of a lot of crazy surgeries. Most interesting, big, bloody, scary.
Probably a county trauma.
Well, what happened?
Should I say?
Well, okay, do you want me to say mine?
Yeah.
Well, okay, this isn't the craziest, but the first time that I realized that this is crazy, like these patients' lives are in our hands in trauma when we are on trauma. So my first month as an intern, we get a page from the emergency room and they say basically all hands on deck, oral surgery, we need you down here now. And I'm just an intern, so I was bottom of the totem pole, not important, but the entire team mobilized because they said there was what they call an RB or a red blanket, basically a patient that needs to go to the operating room right now, else they may pass away. So the whole team mobilizes, runs downstairs, and there's a guy in a gurney, and there's blood everywhere, and his neck was just slashed open, and he was totally bleeding out, and everyone's running around. They're prepping him for the operating room, and what happened was, I guess he said he was minding his own business, but somebody came behind him and slashed his neck with a machete, and he was just bleeding out. So we had to classic, yeah. So we had to go in there and tie everything up and try to stop the bleed stat so that he's not bleeding while we're rushing to the operating room to find the main source of the bleed. And I was just the intern, so they were just like, okay, suction, Christy, suction. And I had to yank our suction, and I'm trying to suction. They're like, Christy, suction. I'm like, it's bleeding. He's bleeding too fast. I can't. I couldn't get all the blood. And they got him ready for the operating room, and he got wheeled to the OR. And like I said, I was an intern, so I didn't get to go to the OR.
Oral surgery?
Mm-hmm.
Oral surgery?
Oral surgery was on face call. So
I don't remember that.
We were on deck. It was my very first
I've
month.
never had a RB facial trauma. that went from ED straight to OR.
And Thomas
I've had
Yamamoto was
I've
there.
had some that were like soft RBs, like in trapped orbit, but I've never had one that they kicked everyone out of line to RB to the OR.
Yeah, they are reading him. Dr. Yip was there.
Yeah, no.
Thomas Yamamoto. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I think that was my very first week as well. So it was a really big wake up call.
I can say the wake up call for me was the very first time I was on solo face trauma call, and it was probably the worst night of my life. Yeah,
The famous
it
ear
was
story.
so terrible because they set you up for your very first month, and this is again after you graduate from dental school. So you're a dentist, a new dentist, and you go straight into oral surgery residency. You're an intern. You have not seen any of these things before. None of these traumas that you're explaining. Like, you go straight from being a dentist to going into that.
Yeah, like
And
the
then-
month prior, we were just doing little fillings on teeth.
Exactly. Cleanings.
And
We
then
were doing
now this
cleaning.
guy's neck is chopped open
And
with a machete.
So they put you for the first month, the first, maybe handful of times that you're on call, you have a buddy. So you're on buddy call with another resident that is older than you.
Yeah, more
so
senior.
They can guide you through the call, but you are holding the pager, so it's very exciting and scary. And so, but then halfway through the month, you start going on solo call. So you don't have a buddy with you on call. Of course, there's backup people backup residents that you can call if you get in a bind or there's something that you need help with, but you are still technically on solo call. So then there's also regular call versus face trauma call, where regular call is solely kind of oral surgery procedures versus face call, which is typically shared with plastic surgery and ENT, where you rotate which service is taking face calls. So when oral and maxillofacial surgery is on face call, you get all of the oral surgery calls, but also any of the facial trauma. So it's kind of like this versus all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so my very first solo face call, I think I had 13 consults. So that's not even the pages. That's just how many consults I had to go
Yeah,
see
because
in
you
the
could
middle of the
get
night.
actual consults where you have to go see the patient, but you could also just get pages about the patients you're taking care of in the hospital that are living there
like
with
a
us
nurse
for that moment.
asking you for some pain medicine.
Yeah, put it in order to
You don't have to go see them. You just put an order on the
Yes.
computer. But I think I got 13 actual consults
That's
that
bananas.
I had to go see. I didn't have a single second of sleep. And then in the middle of the night, I got a page about, I don't even remember what happened,
know
but it's a
about-
trauma. Yeah, it was a trauma to
I know
the
about
ear.
the ear and the bucket handle fracture.
Where this patient, oh yeah, that was a different night.
Oh.
Where this
One of many.
patient had some sort of trauma to the ear, and his whole ear was falling off just by a little thread, I think from the earlobe, and then I had to put it back on and suture it bedside in the trauma bay. And I think it just took me hours because I didn't even know which suture to use. It was so bad
man.
because I was so fresh.
Yeah, you walk into to that patient's room and you're like, "Hi, I'm Dr. Kimiko. I'm your dentist.
I don't even
Let's
think-
put your ear back on."
I think he was sedated actually. So I
Good.
think I just
Good
started
for him.
I think I just started working, but
Good.
it
That's-
turned out well, but I was dead. And I think that was my last
The
I think
patient's
that was
ear
my last-
wasn't.
I don't know whatever happened to him. I don't know if he ever came back.
From what I heard, his ears survived
I
because
hope
of you.
I
You
hope
did a great
so.
job.
I have the
Yeah.
immediate post-op photo, but that's all I have.
I feel like our parents were really tough on us when we were very little. Sorry, tough on me. You didn't need it. I needed it. Okay.
They're still tough on me.
They were in a different way. So I feel like our parents were very tough on us when we were little because they wanted us to develop to be able to make the right decision or the best decision or just do the right thing. And as we got older and they could see that we were able to do those things, they began to loosen the reins, and they weren't as strict as we got older. I remember when I was little, very little, like very young grade school, if I didn't do well on a test, they would be so upset. Just like, this is the worst thing imaginable. How dare
Well,
you?
they're
But
Asian.
but I remember say and many years later, say in college, if I didn't do as well, my parents were not upset with me. They were just, you know what, very encouraging. If you did your best, if you tried your hardest, then that should be commended because what you're trying to do is very difficult, and we're just proud of you for trying, for
Yeah.
going for it. We're proud of you for taking the shot.
Yeah.
And so through all of this, I feel like they are very fluid, very progressive.
Hmm.
And then when I got to dental school, you just would never believe that it was just the same dad from when I grew up. Because when I got to dental
Especially now.
school, when he dropped me off, you think an Asian dad would be like, study hard, get A's, be number one. But he was just like, you know what, Christy, I'm dropping you off here in Vegas, and I do not want you to leave this town without having fun. If you
Aw.
leave these 4 years and you can't say you didn't have a great time, then you did something wrong.
Yeah.
And if I ever had a test or I was working really hard, my dad, he'd always tell me, Christy, I know, money's tight. Obviously, you're pulling out all these loans, but you should go get a massage, or you should
Yeah.
enjoy a drink. Do not feel bad. Go enjoy yourself.
Hmm.
Because there's more to life than just studying and working hard. You got to be balanced, and you got to
Yeah.
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So that's just very progressive parents, I would
Yeah. I think that's generally what I experienced during childhood, but I do agree. I think our personalities as kids were just very different. And I think as Asian parents, of course, they're going to stress to get straight A's and do well in school and really just do well at anything that you're going to pursue. And so but I think for me, from what I remember as a kid, in school, in tennis, in this, in that, I think if I'm really honest with myself, I was probably the hardest critic on myself than anyone. And I think they recognize that. And so they didn't feel the need to do that maybe with me.
say. Yeah,
I don't know if that's right.
They didn't need to light a fire under you.
But
Like, you already had it.
I just always remember if, for like, let's say I didn't do as well on a test as I wanted to, or I felt like I should have, I would get so upset with myself to the point where they had to kind of bring me up and encourage me and say, Kimiko, it's okay. As long as you did
so
your
wild
best.
because I would just
Yeah.
be like, oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. But I think what you brought up is really what you brought up about kind of when you went to dental school is really been key throughout our entire childhood and into our adulthood, where they have always stressed for both of us, you work hard and you play hard. And so with those words, working hard comes first. You got to work hard. And I think they didn't just say that to us, but they let it through their own lives and provided that example for us, where first and foremost, you got to work hard. You cannot rely on someone else to make a living for yourself, or you have to be independent and you have to be able to, one, find a dream for yourself and then go pursue it. Like, nothing should stop you from doing that, no matter who you are or the background that you came from. And I think they always stress that with all of us. And that's what they did. They always worked hard. They sacrificed so much for both of us to really just be able to sit here together like this. That all comes from them. But secondly, then you work hard, you play hard. And so I think we've done a good job of taking the example that they've led and through the guidance that they provided with those words to do that. Like you said, you went to Las Vegas, you worked hard. I mean, look at how far you've come and where you are now. But you had a great time in Las Vegas, and I did the same thing through my time in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Charlotte, now where I'm living now. And so I think it's not necessarily something that I think of in my day-to-day, but just out loud talking with you about it, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've taken from both of them. And also I think the fact that you do it too, it's like, oh yeah, we got to work hard, we got to play hard, and we encourage
That's
each
right.
other. Yeah, we encourage each other in that way.
Speaking of play hard, what do you do to play hard?
Okay, I've thought about it. I think I'm not the type of person that has like a regular hobby, I think, that I do every single week. that most people do. I feel like I'm very, I don't know, like explorative in my interests, and it very much is fluid from one thing to the next. One weekend I might be going to a yoga class. The next weekend I might be trying a new restaurant. Another time I might be going snowboarding.
Going snowboarding.
Going to see a concert, going to the musical theater.
Totally.
And so, but I think that's what I really enjoy, is just exploring what my city has to offer, what there different things that there are to do, different things coming through the city. And so I think for me it's more just about trying different things and living life in that way.
But see, again, that's why I feel like if you were to do something else, I really feel like you could be anything.
What would I do?
I don't know, but I feel like if you say I want to be a lawyer, I know that you could do it. Or if you wanted to go get your PhD in something, like the type of person that you are.
But I think that's both of us. I think if
Yes.
we had a strong passion in some other field, then that's just our personality to like, okay, I'm going to jump into it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we're going to do. I'm going to go 100% into it.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we've gotten to this point and we've been able to get through all of these years.
I think so.
Because it is tough. It's a tough string of years. As fun as they were, they are very challenging. Fun. What about you? What things have you enjoyed doing since moving back to Las Vegas?
Since moving back to Vegas, well, okay, Vegas has grown so much from when I left to when I came back. Like, just driving down the 215, I'm like, oh, that building's new, that building's new. It's just, there's so many more shows. Like, the Sphere is new.
What's the best show you've seen in the last year?
Oh, in the last year? Oh, that's really tough.
And I come to Las Vegas a lot, so I would say Barry Manilow.
You just like Copacabana.
But what else? Katy Perry was really good.
She's not doing well on social media right now. No, she's getting roasted
I shouldn't say that.
social media right now. She is not a popular topic right now. I do really like her, though. I feel so bad for her.
Absinthe was good.
Oh yeah, Absinthe.
We saw that when you first
so now I've seen Absinthe twice. So I saw Absinthe with you. Yes, they have changed the show because the great thing about Absinthe, it's a variety show. So they can keep the format of the show, but they can have different acts in there. Yeah. So now I've seen it twice. Both times, phenomenal. They I don't know how those people do it. There's like a skating act. Talented. There's one where they're balancing on like 10,000 chairs. Yeah. And the atmosphere of being in the tent is really cool. Like on the outside, you don't even realize it's there. And then you walk in and you're like, wow, this is ginormous. It's at Caesars. It's in the beginning of front of Caesars.